beam of light, boom, laser light. As it passes through these two slits, okay, it's coming up onto these two slits, and it's casting out a light. It's luminous. It's a wave, okay. And once that light hits the center piece of these two slits, it bounces like a wave, and it makes two waves. It's like throwing one plink plonk, two pebbles blink plonk in the water, and it'll make a ripple, and those ripples converge at some point before they pass through the slits. All the slits do is just bust them up, and they shoot them in all directions. And typically on a wave interference pattern, you have about seven bars. So it'll be like, 1, 2 bars, there's 7 of them. Okay, and then you're looking at a wave interference pattern. They're looking at this and they don't understand it. They're like, well, now we're shining this beam that's essentially shooting out electrons, which are subatomic particles, and they're particles, so they're things. And we're shooting out this beam, but it's giving us a wave interference pattern. But we know for a fact that it's particles, and it's only passing through 2 slits. So there should only be like two bars there, to show what they did was they decided that in order to figure out the mystery of this thing, what they were going to have to do is take the laser that they were using there, okay, to where they can control the output of the individual electrons themselves one at a time. And so essentially it's like, so what did they do? They got a measurement device, and they set it right up to where the little 2 slits were at, and they were looking on it because they wanted to see which hole the electron passed through, the hole on the left or the hole on the right. Well, and then when they did the experiment and when they were done doing it, what they found out was that, well, now they only have 2 piles, not 7, which is what they figured it would be to begin with. If they're shooting at the thing with 2 slits and bang, 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 it should make 2 little, because the plate itself is like made out of like, phosphors or whatever. So when like an electronic charge, it'll kind of brighten up a bit. They moved the detector around, but when they removed it, they noticed when they ran it again with no detector and no person like in the room looking at it or whatever, that it went back to behaving like a wave function, 7 bars. And then when the man went back there and he watched it while it was occurring, it would make 2. They put a detector up against it, 2. Any type of measurement or observational tool that was used to put up against it would cause the thing that was being observed to literally change its actual presence in space and time. This has been tested to a great effect, including experiments that have gone on where the collection plate was, known to be at least 1 million miles away, to where the scientists could actually send an electron on its journey. They'd know that it has about 2 seconds or so, to get there. As this electron was on its path to the plate, and they would determine whether or not they wanted it to be like on or off, or they would look at it or not look at it or something like that. And then depending on the decision that the scientists made, would the electron then change its entire behavior along the path all the way back to its origin in the past. That means that like if something is going to be a thing, okay, like say I set up a double slit experiment in my garage out there and I'm watching it, okay? When I go to look at it to watch it, it's going to appear with 2 bars of light on the phosphors. If I leave the room and I let it run, it's going to appear as 7 bars of light on the phosphors. It's going to represent a wave, okay? If I'm looking at it, it no longer represents a wave function. The wave function has collapsed, and it is now a function of matter, okay? Well, the thing about it is now is 2018. If I go into my garage and I have that experiment set up and I'm watching it, when that wave function collapses and I get 2 bars on one, every single electron that has hit the plate on the 2-bar paradigm while I was observing it has undergone a complete reversal of its entire fucking path of trajectory from the beginning of the universe. The more we look down there, the more the fucking shit unravels. I'm from Berenstain. That's where I came from. A massive split occurred, okay? Okay, it wasn't a jump into a parallel universe. Okay? What happened was something was observed that was big enough to rearrange a significant number of electrons in their path from the beginning of time to change everything. And it's constantly occurring now. Why? Hi. The more we look into this, okay, the more we capture these moments in time, the more we look at what is effectively supposed to be a wave function of electromagnetic waves. We talk on the phone, the waves converted into particles, okay? But do they ever go back to once the wave has collapsed, you know, it's a thing, it's locked. And so what happened was, is we started observing the universe is expanding faster and faster. The population of people is growing. The eyes are looking. It wasn't a singular event that changed everything. 9/11, okay? It was the most viewed thing on television in news history. You had billions of people all over the world focusing their consciousness into a cathode ray that at the time, you know, the TVs are made they were made out of vacuum tube. They're cathode rays. They shoot beams of electrons across a phosphor plate. And we were bombarded with these particles just raining in. And every single one of them on its trajectory, you know, which was controlled by a device that's just spitting them out at our face. All we're doing is sitting here observing the collapse of the wave function on an electron level. And every time that wave function collapses, all of the electrons that are involved in that process are changing the beginning of time. CERN, the facts are, according to New Fork, every single date, okay, you can look at a chart, every single date that the Large Hadron Collider, okay, was used in experimentation, it equally and perfectly corresponds with a drastic rise in reports of UFO sightings. Now, you know, UFOs and things, you know, I'm a scientist, understand? The Higgs field was made in the abstraction of mathematics. It was designed in the minds of human beings. Mandela's, all right? Star Wars, Berenstein, okay, the way that it was. For me, in my experience, when I was awake all the way from that time, and some of you are awakening now, and you remember various checkpoints and stuff. Star Wars is a mass. It's a mass gathering of consciousness around an idea, around a movie, around a theme. The reason that 3PO's leg is now 10 is because something significant happened as a result of observation of something that changed a huge block of something that occupies our consciousness. Now, those are hard to change. Herbal essences, smaller things, little things here and through there, but big things like Star Wars, you know, huge things like Star Wars. I mean, that's tough, and that takes a lot of energy. Now, the Higgs field was complete mathematically, and they hadn't correlated a boson. They hadn't correlated the boson to tie it all together. So what did they do? Okay, they run up the Large Hadron Collider at a very, 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 very high voltage, okay? And they put the detectors out just like the double slit, and they watched and they observed and they put some Higgs boson. But at what cost? Now, we're not dealing with parallel universes. We're dealing with our very universe being altered all the way back to the beginning of time, simply by looking at the event. Now, that event can be horrible. That event could be World War II. That event can be the Olympic Games, you know, a champion. That event can be a massive event of love, orchestrated, where the whole world can look at and see and test this thing working out. Or we rip out our eyes and we stop seeing and we stop looking, we stop searching, we know enough, and we start working on loving each other. You know, detach, put it down, leave it alone, and walk the fuck away. And that's all we have to do to win this game. I hope that this makes some sense, because it makes sense to me. Spread this information because it's important.